we want to set a challenging and rewarding environment. Yes, there's going to be times where there's knocks along the way. My job is to ready players for the first team or for other professional teams. Have I got things wrong? Yeah, but I'm relatively new in the phase, and I think myself and the staff, we take criticisms, we take disagreements, we take things that perhaps we haven't worked out. We all take it on board, and we look to strive and improve the opportunity that we provide, not just for players, but I think for parents as well. A new thing that we brought in terms of filming. So the games are regularly filmed, whether that's for either squad on a Wednesday, for a Sunday. It's difficult as a parent watching all of your son's games as a 16-year-old, which has been on the weekend, to then expect them to come out of work on a Wednesday afternoon. I can see that's difficult, and I'll probably get that when I have children of my own, but we provide the service where the players and the parents get the footage of the game, and that's received good reviews as well. And of course, Evo and Scotty look at that footage as well, and as I mentioned before, and it's about bridging that gap. It's not the professional phase and the first team, it's merging it together, so hopefully we can create more first team players of the future, and that's echoed really with the first team involvement. So you've got Evo and Scotty who have been unbelievable, supporting myself, supporting the players and the other coaches as well, but first team players as well, Simon Spender, Steve Saunders, who regularly both attend training sessions, and it's great for the lads to have that interaction, but that wealth of knowledge that perhaps maybe I haven't got, because again, other people looking at, I was never the greatest of footballers. They've played at the highest level, and it's great for aspiring players at TNS to look at that and go, yeah, I can take that on board as well, because you're currently in the first team and you're currently in the position of where I want to be. So I think on that note, Rev, it's been a positive season, but nothing's been achieved in my eyes as of yet collectively. But that's not me saying at one moment that I'm not proud of every single boy. I'm so proud of every single boy. Perhaps maybe I don't let on enough, but I'm a shrewd man. I can't let players rest because they've only got 2 years here, potentially 3 years, and I don't want it to be wasted. But certainly, New Year's resolutions, I've got to perhaps maybe think before I speak. But so far, I think so good. But hey ho, let's see what the future holds.
Steve, that's a great insight there into what's gone on in the past few months. But this is also a time of the year for looking forward. You mentioned a number of players have received international accreditation at various category levels. Also more than one or two have made the first team as well. How do you see the next 6 months panning out in terms of youngsters progressing into both international and first team experience here at Parkhill, and of course your own involvement?
Absolutely. I think first and foremost, let's stay on the level page here in terms of the first team of the current Welsh champions. Performed fantastically well year on, year out. They've got some fantastic players. So as a young kid, trying to break into that first team is obviously going to be difficult. There are a number of boys that have had the opportunities to train. Obviously, Cal Jones, CJ, Ben Clark, Lewis Dutton regularly trains with the first team keepers. But I think something which I've learned from Evo and Scott, you've got to earn the right, but it's got to work for the first team. Scotty mentions it, and Evo, the tempo of the training, and I've seen it firsthand, is frightening. There's no point throwing a player in if they can't reach that potential at that tempo, should I say, at this present time. But I keep reminding players and parents it's only been 4 months. They're not, perhaps maybe some of them have got used to it's pretty much a full-time program in terms of the amount they train, all the gym work they do away from home, the nutrition, the strength and conditioning, the college work, of course. The boys are an asset to themselves in terms of finding time to socialise, because it's unbelievable what they put in, really. In terms of international recognition, absolutely. I think that's nothing to do with me in terms of I'm not taking any credit for it. It's down to the boys. I'll put the club in that bracket. I think the club have done outstandingly well by listening to me and letting me employ the people that I want. Jace Brindley, I don't have to say anything about how good he is, and the sessions that he puts on are really good, challenging. Si Smith, Si works with myself in the 19s with Kieran as well. Si's a good mate of mine, and from a technical point of view as well, puts on some outstanding sessions. I've got to be greedy. I think I've got the three best coaches that are available to me, and the players should remember that it's gone from 2 coaches to now 4 coaches on a regular basis. But even when you've got Si and Stevie coming in as well, that's potentially 6-8 people that are involved on a regular basis, exactly like the first team really. So how do I see it panning out? The challenge is to get more and more boys training in that first team environment, but it has to work for the first team, because again, as we said, we don't want the boys missing college if they're going to be a bit part player for 5 minutes, and Evan and Scotty fully agree with that. Of course, it depends on injuries. Injuries haven't been too bad this year, touch wood, but also as well, the whole team, I think the success of what Evan and Scotty are bringing in, I think there are a number of boys in that first team squad perhaps may haven't played as much as they like, but of course they're a little bit ahead of where my boys are at the moment. So it's certainly a difficult environment to break into, but I think the stats have shown it, where there's been 12 players that have trained already within the first team. You've got obviously Lewis Kay, Harry, Callum Jones, obviously Clarkey. I'd like to obviously give a special mention to my goalkeeper, Aaron Jones, who recently made his first team debut. It's been unbelievable for me in the 19s league, and I think it's perfect for Lewis Dutton, who's done outstanding as well on a Wednesday, and when called upon on a Sunday to learn off it, that they're great too, to learn off each other, Eve, as well as Byron Bingham has been great for me as well. So where do I see it? Hopefully, you can't predict it in football. Hopefully, players to keep on pushing themselves. Let's see what they like after 2 weeks off at Christmas, where they've got their testing on the Friday. But the way that the players conduct themselves, I predict a very, very strong finish to the season. But I think I've got to put the ownership onto the players. It's down to the players how much they want it. We can only provide them with the tools, with the opportunities, but it's got to be for the players to, I think the word is consistently, play at potentially their highest possible level, and I count that to training. I'm a stickler for structure and quality and excellence, and yes, there's been some training sessions where us as management team have felt that the players perhaps maybe haven't put as enough into it as they should, and I keep reminding about the first team. Their first team training is always at a very, very high standard, but most importantly tempo, of course, relevant to what their bodies are saying, whether it's a recovery session, a loading session or a tapering session. But I keep reminding the boys that, look at the boys that are going to be coming up next year for the 16s as well, that the phase just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's us as a management team and a club to try and get the best out of these players, but equally to try and help out the first team. So what does the future hold? It's up to our players really to answer that in terms of the performances they make, the opportunities they keep getting from an international level, from a first team point of view, but most importantly from a professional phase point of view, because like the professional phase, they don't get those international experiences, accreditation, or the first team opportunities. So let's see how the players take that little message on board.
Well, Steve, thank you for your time this afternoon very much.